Hey, we went live, and it says we're live. So
Yeah,
here we are live.
It's something new for me lately.
Yeah, right. So hey, everybody. Probably going to be a minute before the stream populates with a bunch of people watching, and I don't have any access to what do you call that when it's the live? I guess it's live chat. You know, the live chat. I'm doing it inside StreamYard. So
Yeah, I've got the StreamYard's chat up. We got Jerry Satterelli that's in here already saying hey to John.
Yeah, I saw Jerry had come in early and wanted to say hello.
Yeah, we got Dawson's Railfan Adventures just popping in. What up, fellas?
Very cool.
I do have YouTube up on another screen over here, so if we start falling too far behind, I can always look over there too. So
okay, well, let me know if you see anything that I should highlight as we're going. Hey, Heath is on.
I was going to say we could delete his right away, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, right. I see Brandon and Roy and Evan's Rat Mountain N Scale.
Yeah, there's a bit of a different name.
Yeah, and Aiden. Very good to see everybody here. Thanks for joining us. I'm here with my buddy Dave. I'm sorry, Sparky. To me, he's Dave. I use people's names. I don't.
Worst part is I'll answer to Sparky so much faster than Dave. So,
well, I mean, it's easier for me just because I'm used to calling people by their real names. You know, R711. That's Lucas. Yeah.
Yeah. Good day, John and Sparky.
Right. And Lucas is from Australia. I gave Lucas a little shout out on the last podcast. He does some really cool videos of stuff down under. So I'm not going to spend too much time with hellos and all that stuff in the chat because we have a guest. That's you, I guess, or a co-host, I guess. And what we're going to do today is a live call-in show. It's my new favorite thing. And I mentioned on the most recent podcast here a couple weeks ago on Saturday that, hold on a second. Oh, Brandon is going to be an SLC. Dude, you should totally hook up with Alvin. If you give me a text or send me an email or something, I'll see if I can get you guys in touch. But that would be really good.
Yeah, you just got to learn to hold your fingers like this when you're talking.
No, it's this, man. You got to do it right. There's no index finger. It's just the thumb and the pinky. Well, I'm not supposed to do it like this.
Canadian.
This is totally not how you do it. It's like, hey, I can't. Got to put it out here, man. How it is. Hang loose. There it is.
Sit back for that, then.
Exactly. There you go. I think you got it.
Too far away, anyway.
Yeah, right. I have a few things to bring up that may get people interested in calling into our show here.
Well, what I'm really kind of hoping you could do, you were kind of saying like favorite brands and stuff of like our models and things like that, I guess is what you were kind of hinting to. So one way for people to call in is if they do have maybe a favorite model that they do have, they can come up here and show it off.
That could work. Yeah, that could work well. Why don't I open up the call-in deal here, and I'm going to set out the rules for the calling in now. I'm going to put a link in the text chat, and you can click on that link, and you'll show up in my screen here. But before I add anybody to this, you need to have your camera on, or if it's someone I know, then I'll certainly put them on. But if it's someone I don't know, make sure you have your camera on. And when you come on, try to be as concise as possible. And what I'm trying to do is I don't want to end up with 6 people on the screen all the time like we did last time. I want to try to make it a call-in thing where people call in. They can ask you a question. They can ask me a question, whatever. And we're only going to go for probably about an hour, somewhere between 1 to 2 hours at the most, because I have to go see my mom for her birthday today.
So your favorite train you're going to wrap up in a present and give it to her?
What I should do is wrap it up in a present and give it to myself. That way. So anyway, so I'm going to put the link in the thing here. Let me type up a deal, and maybe you can keep people busy talking for a minute while I type up a message with the link that I will then copy.
Sure, because we got James Galton in here saying hi.
Yeah, you keep going.
Oh, gee, thanks. C&J Railroad put me on the spot right away. So, like you said, we got Vanity Junction in here, and he's asking if we're in the 20th century or not, because he said phone number. Like, what's with that? So, no, it'll be a link in the chat, guys, that you just got to click on. The biggest thing, though, is if you're watching YouTube, if John brings you up on the panel, you got to mute your YouTube or we get a loop.
Oh, good point. Yes.
Make sure that, I haven't forgot that part. I know it's been a good 3 weeks since I've been live, so I might be a little rusty too. So are you?
No, Austin Bayou is rusty.
Yeah, that's true too. And Heath, are you going to be giving away your old camera?
Oh, those are already sold, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't give nothing away. Sell it if you can. So
I can't afford to give stuff away. I mean, some stuff, but maybe I can give away some videos or something.
There you go.
I know what I'll do. Let me think about how to do this, because I've got videos upon videos upon videos here, DVD style videos, right?
I know I can take a couple more up from you next time I come down because you gave those away.
Oh, did you give them? Oh, that's right. That's right. From your giveaway. I forgot about
that was a while ago.
Yeah, no problem. So the next time I see you, you can take as many as you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a bunch. So I will not be giving away one of my new cameras either.
Yeah, no kidding.
As much as I would like to, because I like giving stuff away and I like making people happy, but I kind of need those right now.
Yeah, speaking of giveaways, I still got the 2 stuff that I gave away last time still sitting on the bench. That was 3 weeks ago too. I got to get.
Did people not claim it or what?
Well, they're both claimed. Stu Structures won one of them, and I think it was Sioux-Line Caboose or Caboose 121 or something won them. Just because of things that have been going on in my life, I just haven't had time to get out of the house with trains. So,
yeah, the hemorrhoid surgery went okay.
It didn't go too bad. I think there's still one lump on the one far cheek. So, how did I play into that one? Nothing phases me with you anyway. So,
yeah, you had to know what to expect. It always goes there, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hey, we got Ralph Renzetti in here. How are you, buddy? And Container Man 68 was asking how I was doing. Not doing too bad. They're coming along. So, things in my personal life got to be worked on a little bit. So.
Yeah.
I can only give a small hint to that is if you guys are watching YouTube 24/7, don't do it. Your wife's not going to like it.
Well, I mean, the thing is you get involved and you're trying to help other people and do your community building, and it takes a lot of time, and it's easy, I think, to get lost in that.
Yeah. Lost is something I did do. I got to kind of tone that down a little bit, and I need more family time. So, yeah. Definitely going in that direction. So,
yeah, well, that's good.
But she's been to the shed for a while. It's like, get out there, do a live stream, would you? I'm sick of you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad you had time. So, basically, folks, what we're looking at here today is Dave and I are going to be on, like I said, for like an hour, maybe 2 at the most. I don't have plans really a specific cutoff time, but I put the link in the chat there. If you'd like to call in, you feel free to click that link and we'll bring you up on here. The topic that I first wanted to try and talk about, thanks Heath, that's what I was about to bring up, is your favorite brand for models. And maybe we can get a conversation started that way. I don't really have a specific favorite brand. I have a brand that I get a lot of stuff from that makes them my favorite because I have a lot of their stuff, and that makes me like them because I have a lot of experience with their brands. Yeah. So I think for locomotives, it's hard for me to decide. I really like Atlas a lot because they're consistently good runners, and they're not always the most detailed locomotives, for example, or freight freight cars for that matter. But they're consistently, is that an Atlas?
That's an Atlas right there. I think that's the Gold Series.
Yep.
But the one thing I do like about them, their sound is pretty good on their sound models and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys can actually see it, but inside the cab, Atlas always has figures.
They do.
And I don't understand why more brands don't go with figures inside the cabs, because most trains need somebody to drive it. So I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing that out there for other manufacturers. Like Atlas does it. So is Atlas supposed to be your lead locomotive for every train that you run, or?
Oh, I guess you could run it that way.
Yeah, but like you get Broadway Limited or Athern or all that stuff. Most of them don't have engineer or brakeman in them type thing, right? You can add them easy enough for sure, but
Yeah, and it's possible that's why the other brands don't, because they figure they'd let you add your own. I don't know.
Yeah, but detail-wise, it's not too bad. And if you're thinking, like, you're running that around a layout anyway, are you really looking for the really fine details, like chains and little rotating bearing caps and all that kind of stuff? Like, I don't know. Details all in the way you're running it, I think. So,
yeah. Well, one thing I will say about Atlas locomotives, to me, it's a lot like Kato. And what I mean by that is they're not always the most detailed locomotives, but they always run really well. And Kato also always runs really well. And I'm talking HO scale, N scale, really an N scale. Kato probably has the best mechanisms. All of the stuff I have from Atlas that's an N scale, locomotive wise, all runs exceptionally well. If you watch my N scale Friday shows, I make those things crawl. And I'm putting them basically at the lowest possible speed that they can go.
yeah.
And it's really good. I'm noticing
in your life.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm noticing that Tree Frog Flag Productions popped on here during a break, probably working at Roaring Camp today. That's Trevor. Remember Trevor at Roaring Camp?
Yeah.
And I was going to talk also a little bit about Roaring Camp because I was just up there a little less than a week ago. I've been doing a few things that I'll be updating everybody on the podcast, but that's like 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now. So after we're done talking about brands, maybe I'll tell you, Dave, what I've been doing because it's kind of a cool thing. But I was also going to bring up the rolling stock, and I think that we could talk about rolling stock brands too.
Yeah, for sure. I was just going through some of the chat though, and we got Ralph Renzetti. He was talking about locomotives and stuff. Cato and Athern are his favorite for weathering.
Yeah,
so I guess that could be something else to look at too. Like if you're more into the weathering aspect, how easy is it for the weathering details and stuff to kind of get onto the locomotive and things?
Are some easier than others? I mean, I think if you just put dull coat on it and use powders, you should be good to go with almost any brand.
That's what I would think, but maybe Ralph would come up for a couple minutes and explain what he was trying to say for that. So,
yeah. If anyone is interested, let me put the link here again.
Yeah, Ralph, if you'd like to come in and come up a couple minutes and let us know what you meant by weathering for Cato and that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like I'd like to know some things different to weather than others.
I'm guessing not. I'm also thinking, detail wise, I've been really impressed with the Athern Genesis models, the locomotives that they've come out with. I've seen, like you were talking about earlier, chain detail in the trucks and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of very impressive scale trains models too with that detail. As a matter of fact, that's really what scale trains is all about, is putting the detail on there, and they tend to be really good runners too. So
yeah, I think scale trains kind of set the bar pretty high for everybody else, and then a lot of the manufacturers are starting to come up to their details too, I think. So
yeah, I think most of the guys from scale trains used to work with Athern, so maybe they wanted to start their own company to do more details than what Athern was allowing them to do. Maybe that's what it was.
I'm sure it was just a lot of politics involved, so it just won't go there. So
yeah, probably. It looks like Ralph is trying to call in, but we're going to have to wait for his camera and here we go. Waiting for his camera and microphone to turn on. Let's add Ralph and see what's on his mind.
Can you hear me, guys? The camera won't come up good because I'm out on the front porch and it's dark out already.
Yeah, we can kind of see you. I know when my lights are off, I look better that way.
Well, this is a good thing, right?
It is for me. So what did you mean by the difference in weathering?
There are some manufacturers that do not separate the walkway from the shell.
Oh, I see.
And when you try and weather, the weathering strokes are always downwards, and the walkway gets in the way of the brush. So Atlas, I'm not sure what Atlas does, but Athern and Cato definitely separate.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember from taking apart my Atlas locomotives when I put the DCC in some of them, whether the walkway came off, and I just don't remember. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
right
that
now
does
I'm
make-
finding with Rapido locomotives, they're gluing a lot of stuff together,
Mhm.
which makes it really hard to take apart. Like I try to take the glass out, the windows. I
Mhm.
take the headlights and taillights out, the number boards, so that I don't get any weathering on them at all. And in some cases, you can't get the glass out because it's in so tight or they've glued it. So you have to mask it. And I use the liquid mask rather than tape.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Ralph. When you are doing that, are you using powders or liquids first for your weathering?
Well-
and can you actually tape the walkways then if they don't come off?
I have to work in reverse. That's because you need that full stroke. Otherwise, it looks like crap.
Yeah, okay.
So you work from bottom up. And as far as powders, what do you mean by powders? Because I definitely do not use pan pastels for any locomotives or rolling stock.
Yeah,
think
that's what I would have meant with pastels. So
Well, there are weathering powders too. That's not the
There-
same as pan pastels.
There are, because the weathering powders, Bragdon, AIM is now Monroe, Doc, I forget the name. They are true paint pigments. And when you go to put a protective coating on it, they don't blow away like chalk does.
Right. Yeah, I've been experimenting myself with powders and washes on some rolling stock here. I posted some photos of these N scale cars that I was weathering, I don't know, probably a couple of months ago. Haven't had time to get back to that, but I intend to do a video showing people what I've learned about doing the weathering techniques on these cars. I was lucky enough to have a guy contributing here who was very, very good at weathering for a long time. And I learned a lot watching him and doing videos with him. So, and
Keith is asking, what about Monroe weathering powders?
Monroe is the old AIM powders. Monroe bought them out.
right.
I used to be a dealer for AIM. And then when AIM decided to sell to Walters, I couldn't compete anymore. So I gave it up. But then he sold over to Monroe.
Oh, interesting.
And now, talking about selling over, I don't know whether you've heard, Chooch Industries is now part of Walters as well.
Yeah, that's been all over the Facebook these past couple of days.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
What you
there
said
you
makes
go.
Yeah, what you said makes sense, Ralph. Because also when you take apart the walkways, you also can weather the walkways better too. So
And separately, because
Yeah,
a
it's a
lot
good
of the
point.
walkways get a lot more crap on them than the locomotive does,
yeah,
especially
absolutely.
oil and grit.
Yep, crap off the bottom of people's shoes, right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Thanks for calling in. We have
Okay.
someone else about to
All right.
come in. So thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
See you, Ralph.
Okay. So next up we have Lucas. Hello, Lucas. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. How about you?
I think we're okay overall.
Yeah.
Dave has his Conrail shirt, and I have my Dave shirt on.
Yeah, I've got my Disney World shirt on.
Oh, there you go. Have you been there too?
Yeah, I went there last year actually.
Oh, no way. I haven't
yeah.
even been to Disneyland or World. I've been to
Yeah.
Disneyland. I haven't been to Disney World.
Yeah.
So, hey,
Yeah.
I'm glad to meet you on here. I don't know that we've spoken before, but
I
I
don't think
really
we have, no.
channel the stuff that you sent and the pictures that you sent. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, no, thanks for showing them. I was pretty chuffed when I saw them. I was like, they actually got in.
Yeah, no, they were great pictures, and I enjoyed showing them. What I'm talking about for people watching, if you don't watch my podcast on a regular basis, I have a thing that I started doing, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, or maybe 6 months ago, something like that, where I ask people to send in photos. And it has to be a photo that you took, because I don't want people sending in other people's photos and then those people finding out and being like, what is this guy using my photos for? But if you send in photos of train catches or of your models or something like that, I'll showcase them on my podcast that comes out once every month. And I think it's a nice way to sort of show other people's stuff and other people's, whatever their creative outlet is in the hobbies of either model railroading or prototype rail fanning. And Lucas, our most recent call here, R7116A fan, sent some in last month that were just really great shots. And I would, having seen now a bunch of the photos that people down under take of your guys' railroads, I want to come to Australia and see it in person. I think you guys have really cool, bunch of trains to look at down there.
I think we've got like the biggest amount of variety train wise anywhere in the world. I'm not being biased or anything. I just think that's the case.
Yeah, you might too. I like how there's a lot of steam still working in Australia too. I think that's pretty cool, and a lot under restoration.
We even had steam running until the 80s, so that might have helped as well.
Oh, I'm sure it did. I also have another friend from down under whose name escapes me. It's it's right on the Rowan Kinane. I think.
From Tasmania, is he?
He is from Tasmania. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've met him before.
Oh, really? Yeah, he's also sent in photos before, and they also were very nice photos. And he also does. I think he has a YouTube channel too, and he does some nice stuff. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he has a YouTube channel also.
Yeah, if I remember, he does. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's great.
I'm just kind of going over the chat there, John, and a lot of people are getting hooked on this weathering thing because I guess we had Ralph up there for a bit. But one of the questions that is popping up is like, how many people actually do weather some of their locomotives and rolling stock, or do they leave it new? I know I'm one of the people. I'd rather leave my stuff looking new because I'm pretty sure in time it'll get weathered. So
I do the same, to be honest.
Do you, Lucas? You keep your stuff new?
Yeah. Especially since I'm planning to model Puffing Billy in the early 2000s, and this is my model of 6A. And I haven't done much to it, but it's going to be super detailed soon.
Well, I'm sure that you have access to get good prototype reference photos.
Yeah, well, it's just Puffing Billy's just down the road, so it's perfect.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be that'll look cool. You ought to send progress shots as you get that thing done. It would be
certainly will.
Yeah. So as far as, I guess I'll answer the question too, since it's a question. So far, I have not weathered any of my motive power. I have weathered some of the rolling stock, but no motive power yet. I think that I will, because I have one of the Athern primed for Grime EMD units. I don't remember which one it is, but I think that would look really, it's a Southern Pacific unit. So I think it would look really good just dirtied up, because Southern Pacific had a reputation for just having the dirtiest locomotives.
Yeah. So John, when you say primed for Grime, is that something that's already got, say, a dull coat on it, or like what's the meaning behind that?
Primed for Grime is a marketing term that Athern came up with for when they apply the paint, it's already faded. And sometimes they even have, let me go grab it real quick. I'll show you. Give me just a second. I'll be right back. Why don't you guys talk for a second?
Sure. So if anyone wants to go to Australia, I saw a couple of people in the chat saying that from British Columbia, Canada to Sydney, Australia is a 12-hour flight, right on the nose. So just keep that in mind if you've never been on a plane before. So,
well, it was a 14-hour flight for us from Sydney to Dallas when we went over to Florida last year.
Yeah.
That's too long for me, to be honest.
It was a long flight. And then I think from Sydney to Melbourne, I think was another 2.5 hours. So
yeah,
when I went over there. So, but back in that day, I was more into airplanes and jets. So I went to the International Air Show that you guys have over there.
Oh, at Avalon. Right. Okay.
Yeah, Avalon. I went to that, and that was awesome. I think I seen one train when I was over there. That was it. So,
so I'm going to try to do this without taking these things completely out of their packages, because I really don't want to have to repack them. It might be hard to see. So if you really can't see, just let me know, and I will take them out, or I'll take them more out than this.
I was going to say, you could make yourself full screen too. So. Oh
yeah, let me do that. Sorry,
I'll drop out for a minute too. So.
That's right.
Or actually, how about that? So this is just a regular, not primed for Grime. And you see how the colors are what you'd expect. It's a pretty dark, stupid thing's going out of focus. It's a pretty dark gray. and a pretty bright red on the bloody nose. You see how that looks?
Yeah, classic SP livery.
Right. So primed for grime is, and you'll see on the Athern packaging, it has the little logo, primed for grime. And this is more like what you're looking at. I need to take this one because the little tissue is blocking it. But it should be fairly obvious that this one is a lighter color gray and a lighter color red. Can you tell from this wrap?
You can really tell with the red for sure.
Yeah. So that's what primed for grime is. Now, you can still, I'm pretty sure you would still have to dull coat this if you're going to use powders on it. But the point is that the paint's already faded for you. So you don't have to worry about going over that. Some of their primed for grime models also have patches and stuff like that in it. So in the paint jobs. And it comes to you like that from the factory. So I think that's pretty cool. It saves some of the work when you're going to go, do your weathering on these models. So.
Yeah, a few people are also saying that if they're just going to do weathering, they just like to do the trucks, the wheels, and some of the undercarriage, basically. So.
Okay. I'm typing in a message here about.
It's just prove John cannot do two things at once.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because I'm trying to type, but I'm also trying to talk, and I don't want to be rude to you, Lucas. So
that's all right.
What else is on your mind?
Well, I think one thing I would say while I'm on here is I would like to say thank you to you, John, for making such really good videos. I've watched you since about end of 2016. And I think the main reason I found your channel was chasing trains, and that inspired me to do a lot more like freight train chasing, because I've always been interested in steam, but I've started to become interested in diesels as well. So thanks for that.
Yeah, hey, you're welcome. And we have a lot of fun doing that too. As a matter of fact, I was going to mention this. I guess I'll mention it now because you kind of brought up chasing trains. So 1 week ago today, I was out at Niles Canyon, which I know you know, Dave, because you had a nice tour of their yard while we were there when you came out. But there was something going on. They were running steam, and one of their guys in the steam department is a friend of mine, and they usually give me heads up when stuff is happening. So he says, why don't you come out, and I want to do a quick little video blurb that you can include in your podcast next month. So he didn't really tell me what he was, specifically what he was going to talk about. So I showed up there at 5 or 4:30, whatever, and, talked to them. And as we were leaving, because I was up there with Sydney, the top secret producer here, as we were leaving Niles, I got a text message from my friend Kevin, and he says, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? And usually when it's a message like that, there's something going on that he wants to go, he wants me to go do with him. So it turned out that up at Roaring Camp, which you also know, Dave, because we went there when you were here, they were running both steam engines that are currently operating right now. That would be their 2-truck Shea, the Dixiana, and their 2-truck Heisler, which is, I think, still called the Tuolumne, because it used to be a Heisler that worked up at the West Side Lumber Company in Tuolumne County. Well, anyway, they put a whistle on the Tuolumne that had just been redone by a guy who's very well known out here who rebuilds steam whistles. His name is Chris Rizzoli. Anyway, so they put this, they call it the Hooter. It's a single chime whistle. It sounds a lot like, if you've been out to Promontory, the steam engine locomotive replicas that they run out at Promontory at the Golden Spike Historic Site, or whatever it's called now, Historic Park, I think, sounds a lot like this Hooter whistle. So they were running this Hooter whistle on the Heisler for the first time in like 20 years. So I went with Kevin and his dad and met our friend Paul and Paul's dad, and we hiked all over the mountain over there at Roaring Camp. So I made a Chasing Trains episode out of it. I know I still have to edit that, but that'll be the next Chasing Trains episode that comes out probably next month. And it's pretty cool because I haven't taken my 4K cameras to Roaring Camp yet until that day. So all the people that are patrons on the Patreon site are going to get to see that in 4K with no ads, which that's something I've been doing. I don't know if you've been paying attention, Dave, but all the patron posts that I make they're always in 4K and they're always ad free. Have you been watching those?
Yeah, I do watch them, because then when I come back to YouTube and you post them a little bit later, it's like, oh, I've already seen this. How did I do that?
Oh, right. So you're seeing replays, but with ads in them, right? Yeah. As a matter of fact, I just noticed that Paul, the guy that was at the Roaring Camp, just chimed in here with, that episode will be fun. LOL. That's Paul that was at Roaring Camp with us that day. So
is that Paul from Fern Creek and Western?
That's right. As a matter of fact,
okay.
Fern Creek and Western show that came out today, which is very popular, by the way. In case anybody's watching hasn't watched the Fern Creek and Western video that came out today, Paul and Trevor and Eric and other people that are involved with the Fern Creek and Western Garden Railroad in Santa Cruz here in California, they have redone their entire layout. And what they've done is just really class A work. I mean, we went there maybe 3 weeks ago or something like that for a test run, a test day, because they had just finished fixing up the main line and all the track on the thing. There wasn't a single derailment that I remember that day, at least not one that was caused by track, right? So that video sort of documents the changes that they made in the layout. And really it explains that if you want to be really technical, you can, and it does make a difference in the way the trains run on your layout if you're modeling something large like garden scale. So, I'm glad that Paul's on here, because I just have to really hand it. Paul, you guys did an amazing job. So,
and I'm sure Paul's very happy that I wasn't there to start breaking things too. So,
well, right.
Water tower.
Right. You know what he's talking about, huh?
I might have seen that episode. Yes.
Yeah, that's funny. So I'm going to post the Patreon link here for people in case they're interested in going to the Patreon page and wanting to sign up to be patrons. You can be a patron of the channel for as little as $2 a month. It's like 7 cents a day. I mean, I'm cash flow challenged, and I think even I could afford that. So it's not really a lot, but I think if enough people do it, it adds up, right? Sorry, I don't mean to take all the air out of the room here, guys. You should be talking too.
I'm also going through Rail Friends. Eddie just asked, John, where can I post some pictures of my N scale stuff I've done? So like you said, for your podcast and stuff, you've been posting other people's pictures. So
yeah, if you'd like, Ralph, and anybody who's watching, if you'd like to have pictures either of your models or of prototype rail fanning that you've done featured on the podcast, the monthly podcast that we do here on the channel, that podcast comes out every first Saturday of the month. And the best address there is probably podcast@tsgmultimedia.com. I'll put it in the chat here. I should have had shorter. Here we go. I should have had a shorter domain. Just tsgmultimedia.com is hard to type in every time I need to do that.
Yeah, I nearly did it wrong when I was sending the email to you.
Right. Well, I'm glad yours came through, because, like I said, I did enjoy those pictures that you sent. So, super secret producer is inside today. I told her I was going to do this, but she has other stuff that she's working on. So, I'm going to put the link in case anybody else would like to call in. Please call in if you to chime in about your favorite. I'm doing it again, guys.
Yeah.
You talk, I'm typing.
Mike from Crossed Anchors is popping in saying hello. We got ATDCC Colby saying hi.
Here we go. Then as soon as we get someone, you need to talk, Lucas, because as soon as we get someone else calling in, I'm going to.
Yeah, that's all right. I think it's just being shy. But
I put him on the spot, Dave. Look,
Yeah.
maybe you should ask him what he's going to do with his layout. What are the plans for the layout?
No, I got to wait until he says he's ready to go, and then I start asking questions.
Right? Keep him on for another half hour.
Well, you may remember that photo of the NGG 16 that I put in the podcast.
Right.
That just that was restored back in December last year, and when they did the relaunch of it, we actually double-headed both of the Garretts that we've got at the railway.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, I think we had like 16 carriages on that train, and yeah, they actually, apparently, according to the driver, he was saying that that they actually had to like slow down the train because they were jumping over the speed limit a little because they had that much power. They had 4 locos essentially.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if everybody watching knows what a Garrett is. Those are really cool. I've seen videos of Garretts from, I think, South Africa. I think is one of the places where they've had those. And in case anybody's wondering, it's like a double-ended steam engine, and each side, I think, is its own engine. It's pretty cool.
Pretty much, yeah. 2 engines running off 1 boiler with 2 pivot points at each end of the boiler, right? So it can bend around tight curves.
Yeah. So do you know why they did that? Was it strictly for tighter radius running?
It was tighter radius and also steep grades, basically so they could get into the more mountainous areas of both Australia and South Africa, because the first ever engine was actually built for a railway in Tasmania. K1 is the number.
Is that right? I didn't know that. So they're basically logging engines, and I'm keen on that because I just saw the logging engines I was talking about. The Shays, the Shay and the Heisler up at Roaring Camp. Those are both logging engines.
Yeah, and the Puffing Billy's actually got a Climax too. So we've got a Climax and a Shay. So
yeah, I've seen their Climax. That's one of the few running Climaxes around.
Apparently there's only like 4 operational or something.
Yeah, I think they have one here. I think it's at Cass Scenic, but I'm not sure. I think
that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where the other 2 or 3 are, but I have seen videos. Yeah, I've seen videos of the one at Puffing Billy. That seems like a really cool place. Is that a fairly big place? How big is Puffing Billy?
The length of the track is 15 miles.
Oh, cool.
So 24 kilometers in our thing. And we've got 5 262s, like 6A and 7A, like in the podcast. Then we've got the 2 Garretts, 3 diesels, and a what else do we have? Oh yeah, we've got 3 smaller locomotives as well. 2 de Corvals and a Peckett, which all 3 of them are very rare. They're the only ones in Australia from memory. So
that's cool.
It's a great railway to be a part of.
Do you Is it a volunteer organization, or is it
volunteer / paid? Like there's more paid staff coming in now. I'm personally a volunteer, but I'd love to be a paid driver.
Cool. What kind of stuff do they have you do there as a volunteer?
At the moment, like they did have a youth program until there was some issues regarding that, like safety and child safety, that we had to shut it down back in 2018. And then I'm hopefully going to be a engine cleaner year after next.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Now,
so it's something that you can volunteer with for so long, and then eventually you can get up to the paid positions, or?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just working your way up to the higher positions. Like you have to be an engine cleaner, then a fireman, then a driver, or for you guys, it's an engineer.
So does that take a certain amount of time to do that, or is it just a certain task, and when they feel like you're ready to move on, you can?
A bit of both. Like back in the steam days, you could become a driver after you'd done 20 years of being a fireman. Now you can do it whenever you feel like it. Like you have to do at least, I think from memory, like 2 years as a fireman, and then you can become a driver. And that's probably what I would do. Yeah, we'll see.
Do you have to be 18 or something like that? Because you're 50 or 60.
I'm 16 now. So, yeah.
I thought I remembered reading that in the email. Maybe I don't remember, but
Yeah, I think I put it in.
cool. All right. Well, hey, we have Joey calling in. So is there anything else you wanted to mention, Lucas, before we take off?
No, I'm pretty happy.
Send me some more pictures. I really enjoy the variety of
will do.
getting stuff from down under.
Mm.
So cool. All right. Thank you for
your YouTube channel is our 7116A fan.
Yes.
Okay, so everybody can look that up then.
cool.
Yep.
All right. Thanks
for having me.
See ya. All right.
We also got your buddy Elvin in the chat too, and of course he's got to say the smartest things in the world, like how do trains eat? They chew, chew, chew.
Yeah, I saw that. That is such an Alvinism.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, bro, you ought to call in. Let me bring up Joey real quick and see what he's thinking about his favorite brands. I think I know what he's going to say. Let's just see.
I think Joey was on Vinny's live stream last night too. So
yeah, that was fun.
I actually watched most of that.
Oh, you did?
I did. Yeah. Surprise, surprise. I clicked on it because I had a notification from YouTube that Vinny had just gone live, and then I saw you were on it, and I was like, oh, I guess we'll have to see what Joey's been up to because I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Yeah, at the time, I didn't realize I was going to go live today. This is totally impromptu. Dave we were talking offline, and he's just like, hey, I really miss you, buddy. Can we go live with a thing? And I said, oh, okay.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite brand you want to talk about, or what's your opinion on that, Joey? Or maybe you called to say something else?
I got some favorite brands.
Okay. Besides Broadway Limited, what's your favorite?
Besides Broadway Limited. Actually, I'm a really big fan of AccuRail rail cars for HO scale.
Okay.
They're just, I don't know, they're really easy to put together. They look good. They're pretty cheap. And if I screw one up weathering, I could just get another one.
Fair enough.
Well, I mean,
decent.
And as long as they're not expensive, I mean, I always tell people if you're going to try anything, do it on your cheap stuff first.
Yeah, I like getting the kits where I got to build it up from all the pieces. It's cheaper that way, and I find it's like meditation for me putting these things together.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing we're missing about the train shows and stuff nowadays everywhere is you can't just go and pick up pieces of junk just to try weathering and stuff on. So you actually have to try it on like a $30 piece of rolling stock or something if you want to get your feet wet. So
right, yeah. I troll eBay a lot, so I find $5 to $10 range and just experiment with those. Yeah,
there's a good idea. Or you just go over to a friend's place and weather some of his stuff and then take off. He'll never know.
Or ask him if you can borrow it,
yeah. Borrow this.
Hey, wait a minute. I might be onto something here. You ask him if you can borrow it, and then you weather it the way you like it, and then ask him if he really wants it back or not.
So I'll bring it back. I'll make it look like I've had it for 30 years.
Right? Oh, that's great.
Oh, what's this?
But this one I got off of eBay. It was supposed to be DCC and sound, and when I got it, it was just DC. So anyway, make a long story short, I took it over to a friend of mine's, RWC Toy Man, and I said, can you put DCC and sound in it? And he's like, well, you got ripped off at eBay, so I'll do that, no problem. Put really good LEDs on it and everything else. Brand new locomotive. That's the way I like my stuff. Brand new and shiny. So this was brand new and shiny. So we're sitting there, and he does a live stream. He starts on YouTube. This is going back a couple of years, and he's got this on the turntable, and he's showing people what he's done. And I turned my back, and all of a sudden the weathering powders came out and everything else. The next time I turned out, and he's like, "Yeah, Dave will love this." Thump, 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 and I'm like,
right. The guy who just got done saying he likes to keep his stuff new looking,
and that's why he did it. And he said, "Oh, you should have saw the look on your face when we first did that." And I said, "I could have killed you."
I wonder if it looked like when you had the water go down your back.
Yeah, it was probably pretty close.
So not only you get ripped off on eBay, but now you got someone weathering your stuff when you didn't want it.
Yeah, and I still like the guy. I don't know why.
I don't know, from what you showed there, it looked pretty decent.
No, he does a great job with weathering and stuff. He actually does charge people money for his weathering and stuff. But yeah. But he started with the top and everything else, and I just turned and went, "Well, you started it, you might as well finish it." So,
yeah, I do think that weathering does add a bit of realism because you almost never see anything perfectly clean on the rails, even when they're being maintained.
Yeah.
I think of some of the UP motive power that I've seen out on the rails, and some of the BNSF motive power I've seen out on the rails out here where I live, and they're not always super dirty, but they're never super, or almost never super clean either.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only thing you're really going to see clean on the rails is passenger service. So,
yeah, and that is true. I see mostly for like Amtrak trains and stuff like that. They have wash racks that they go through.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, everything that passes through here is all freight, so it looks like it just went through a dust storm.
Right. Although, I mean, sometimes the freight carriers do run their stuff through wash racks too. So, I mean, they do get cleaned sometimes.
Now, I don't know if we got anybody on from the UK right now, but when I was over there, taking the trains is what we mostly did to get anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Every station basically had a wash booth outside of it. So, and we've seen them used a couple times when we were actually going down the rails, and they're constantly washing their stuff. So,
yeah. Well, I think that in the UK, they take a little bit of pride in their railroads. At least it feels like more than we do here. And I could say that's probably true for other European countries that I've been in as well.
Yeah, that's the feeling I got.
Yeah, maybe
when I would view, like, I mean, I've never been there, but whenever I would view like someone that's rail fanning in the UK or something, everything seems to look like it's like fresh out of the package.
Right? Yeah. Indeed. All right. Well, what about motive power? Do you have a favorite brand of motive power, Joey? Or
currently, it's Broadway Limited for HO.
Oh, I guess right.
For N scale, Katos are nice, and I have one Walthers locomotive, which is it's okay. The detail's nice, but doesn't pull very well.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's at least right? I mean, you've tried some, and I mean, I know that Katos run like Swiss watches. I have a couple of Kato P42s, the Amtrak, because I have a Amtrak long distance train that I built, and I love those things. They're quiet. I mean, the mechanism in them, and they're smooth. So I get the Kato.
Yeah. I got my kid a Kato starter set. We turned it into a T-track module, and it's a little Japanese commuter train. That thing's it's smooth as butter.
Yeah, I heard you talking about that with Vinny last night.
Yeah, all you hear is the clickety clacks over the rail joiners.
Very cool. All right. Well, we have someone else waiting to come on. Should I bring him on? You want to hang in for a second, Joey?
I can hang for a few minutes.
Yeah, hang in for just a second. I said I wasn't going to add a bunch of people, but I wanted to give you time. Let's see what Shannon has to say.
Joey's special, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Shannon? What's going on?
Not much. Where have you been, Sparky? We've been missing you.
Had to spend some time with the family. Well, I shouldn't say had to spend some time with the family. Got to start working on some personal issues. Let's just go that far. So.
Fair enough.
Dealing with important things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to run away from the important things because they're loud and annoying. That's what I'm going outside. If I have to freeze my arm off to run away from the kids, I'm going to do that.
What are you talking about? Isn't it almost summertime over there?
It's spring at the moment, yeah.
So what's your favorite brand, Shannon?
My favorite brand?
Yeah, of models.
Oh, gee. Where do I start? Let's say I've got a few Kato models. I've started getting into BLI. Don't have a lot of Atlas. Got a lot of Athern stuff. What else do I have? I've got scale trains.
Yeah, but what's your favorite of those?
Well, that's the thing. The only reason I'm buying because I reckon they're all good. Like, I don't really have a favorite as such. I just make sure. I just usually buy stuff that I go, okay, is this going to give me crap? No, all right, I'll buy it.
What did you bring this guy up for? All he's going to do is give you a hard time. He can't answer a question at all.
The questions only get harder. So,
No, I don't really have a favorite brand. Like like if you look at my collection, I've got a lot of mixtures of basically Kato, Athern, and Atlas. I've probably got a few Kato stuff, like mainly in the diesels, steam wise. Got a few Buckmans and that, but yeah, I just basically pick and choose really whatever runs good, really.
Very cool.
So I guess with Shannon, maybe we should have asked you, because you do work on locomotives and stuff. You put decoders in them, sound and stuff like that. What is your favorite brand to work on to put decoders and stuff in? I got them now.
Ooh.
If you say you don't have one, John's kicking you out, so you better make it up.
Yeah, actually.
We also have someone else waiting to come in too, so we're gonna be.
I can head out. It's fine.
You gonna take off, Joey?
Yeah, I can go.
Okay. Are you gonna be on the crew lounge? The crew lounge thing on the what is that? The 24th? I think it's next weekend, isn't it?
24th. I will try. I think my wife is on call that weekend.
Okay.
But I can probably steal away for a few minutes.
Yeah, if you can come in, because it's going to be a good one. My friend Dave Connery is going to be on, and he's a great. Besides being a great guy, he's got a lot of good stories, so it should be a good one.
Is he the one that tore his layout down?
Yeah, he is. As a matter of fact, yeah,
that was a beautiful layout.
It really was. Yeah. So,
all right,
cool.
We'll see you later.
Talk to you later.
See you, Joey.
Calling in.
Okay, so the answer to your question is that'll be Kato.
Okay,
like
good.
I've done a few installs in Kato models. I've done I've done GS4 installs, the FEF-3. I've got another FEF-3, another GS4 coming, which I'm going to install in those. I've repaired a few air units for Kato for a few mates where people have just done crap installs, and I've done machining and that on the SD70 Aces to put sound in those as well.
Okay.
Cool.
I just looked at the chat, and Brandon says Bachmann isn't a favorite for anyone, and I would have to disagree with that, because I like to buy a couple of Bachmann, DCC and sound, just to have when people's kids come over and they want to run on my layout. Here you go. Here's the train. Go nuts. Do what you want.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I'm on the fence. Like, I know where a lot of people come from with Bachmann, but at the same time, like, not trying to, have a go at anyone, but people need to really do the research and do the reviews. Look at the reviews, have a look what's good and what's not. Because I've had, I've got about, I don't know, a dozen Bachmann locomotives in my collection, and they've been running brilliantly for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people have had mixed, what's the word for it? Experience, I guess, with Bachmann. I mean, sometimes you talk to people and they have great experiences. Other times you talk to people and they're like, I will never buy another one. And really it's true of most brands, but Bachmann seems to be pretty hit or miss. So.
Yeah, it is. They are very hit and miss, and mainly because of their starter sets. It's the starter sets that have killed their reputation, because, they do have half decently priced starter sets, but, you buy them, they last 6 months, and then you go, oh, why the hell did I buy this? This is crap.
Yeah, but they're trying to get you to buy something else. So,
well, I think also the pitfall with starter sets is they don't tend to put their best stuff into those sets because they're selling them at a discounted price, so they don't want to have the cost be too high. So you're getting usually not their best. That's why when people have asked me over the years, what train set should I get for my kid? I always tell them, it's going to cost more. Well, there's two answers. Either you get something that costs more, like an Athern train set, because Athern makes train sets, and it's probably better than a Bachmann, or a Kato train set would be probably a good starter set. Or if you're someone who's trying to start a legit railroad and you want to do some specific era or specific road, you want to probably get them piece by piece and just get
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing about the starter set is just to see if you even like running the trains or setting them up or taking the time. They're not as easy as just turning on a train and watching it go in a loop. You have to clean it, maintain it, build it up, your scenery. There's so much to do with the model layout, right? So even to get started, if you don't like the basics of keeping track clean, keeping a locomotive running and stuff like that, even the cheaper stuff, then you're going to be out pretty quick. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like, I could tell you, the full story of how, I got into model railroading and how I started financially supporting it. And I still remember my first set that I bought was, I think I paid $150 for it.
Mm-hmm.
And, now 12, 13 years down the track, my collection is around, 50 grand.
Yep. It doesn't take much to add up either. So.
Yeah. All right.
I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, well, thanks for calling in, Shannon. Appreciate that. And in case anybody else is interested in calling in, feel free to. We're talking about your favorite brands of models, and it looks like Dave's picture went away. He must be changing or something. Oh, there he is.
It's the whole fresh air thing. I don't like doing that on camera.
Oh, fresh air. Yeah, that's good. So. Alvin was on a little while ago. I was going to see if he'd chime in because he has a lot of experience running trains too. And I'm excited because Alvin recently got a new place and he's going to be able to build a layout. So that ought to be cool. Yeah. Anyway, let's bring in our next caller. I want to, if you're still watching, Alvin, please call in because I want to talk to you about your new place and what your plans are for your layout. But let's talk to Heath real quick. Yo,
what's going on?
Oh, same old
I don't
stuff.
want to be associated with this guy, so that's why I dropped out.
Yeah.
You did what with him?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
I don't want to be associated with him either, but,
Oh,
unfortunately, I'm not going to win that one.
Yeah, is that what we're doing? Because I could do that too,
Yeah. It's my show now.
Yeah, exactly. So I see that Alvin is still watching. Alvin, you need to hook up with our other friend Brandon, who's also a train crew. Sorry, Heath, give me just 1 second here. I apologize.
Yeah, no, all good.
Not intentionally being rude here. If you get a call in, Alvin, and we get Brandon on here, I want to get you guys to meet each other so that you can hang out next week when Brandon is in SLC. So anyway, now that I got that announcement out of the way.
Yeah, look at you trying to make friends.
I'm sorry, Dave, what'd you say?
I said, look at you trying to make some friends.
Well, I'm just trying to hook people. Look, this is Train Crew, man. Everybody right now on the computer is Train Crew. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So question for you, Heath, since you bothered to call in, and thank you very much. What are your favorite brands for rolling stock and motive power?
So the brand that I'm the most nostalgic about would be Tyco. Because that was the first, that was the first brand I got. That was the first kit I got. So if it wasn't for Tyco and if it wasn't for that, Chattanooga set that I'm sure probably half the people on, here had as their first set, I wouldn't be in, model trains at all. So that set has a certain place in my heart. Let's put it that way, even though Tyco quality is Tyco quality.
Well, I saw you posting the question or posing the question in the chat here, and I thought you'd end up calling in, so I wasn't making a big deal of it. But I agree. And I don't know if you got to see it, Heath, but I did a show that was my HO scale collection. And one of the first ones on that show was the Silver Streak from Tyco. I don't know if you remember that one. I think it was supposed to be an Alco C630 or something like that. It was a goofy looking thing. And I agree. I had a lot of fun with that as a kid. Prior to my Tyco set, though, I had some Italian trains that were made by a company called Lima, Lima.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Lima, who made a bunch of the steam locomotives here in the States. They're from a place called Lima, Ohio. And Lima and Lima are two very different things. That's why they're pronounced differently. They're spelled exactly the same. But yeah, I have a little soft spot for Tyco, and I see pictures of some of the stuff that they put out long ago, and I think, who would want that now? But
yeah, I mean, like Tyco, Lifelike, Model Power, those brands from the 80s that, was, you look at the Tyco Chattanooga red, caboose now, and you're like, oh, there's no detail to it. It's, the printing on it is very basic and whatnot, compared to what we have now, but there's still it's still something I'm drawn to. It's still something that's interesting, I think.
See, I know back in Canada, for those starter sets back then, all we could ever get was F units. So we had F unit CP or F unit CN. And that's why basically you don't see too many F units on my layout, because I hated them back then because that's all you could get. Black and white stripe, red nose, CN unit, F unit. And it was like, oh, really? But now I kind of see them in the other newer models type thing. And it's like, oh, I'd like to get that, but I just can't draw myself to buy it.
Yeah. I have one of those. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Heath.
No, you said it's an interesting thing that Sparky brought up is, were F units popular for manufacturers because it was an easy mold to make, compared to like an SD70 Ace is a much more complicated mold. So like us that started modeling in the 80s, that's all we had were, F units. Was it because that's all the manufacturers could make at that time?
Well, in the States, couldn't you guys get the GP38s and stuff like that at the time for starter units?
Yeah. I was going to say, because all the other locomotives were being made back then. They just weren't in the train sets. And I'll bet you anything it has to do with cost, as you surmise. I mean, look at all those train sets. The detail on that stuff was really crude, because their market really was kids, and kids,
right?
Depending on the kid, I'm going to make a generalization here, because I know kids that wouldn't want any of that stuff because they're like rivet counters, even at age 8, But most kids, if it looks like a train and it goes on tracks and they can play with it, that's good enough. Yeah. And that was their market, right? So I get it. I mean, I don't think you'd be buying a Scale Trains Gevo for an 8-year-old now either, right?
Right. No, absolutely not. So, I mean, And then I would say, modern stuff, I'm a big fan of the micro train stuff, just because I think I like some of the interesting printings and stuff that they're doing. And I think that the details now compared to the details, 5-10 years ago, I think they're getting pretty good. So it's neat to see the transition from the older stuff to the newer stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I think that as you get older and able to afford more expensive stuff too, that also might change your taste, because you can afford to buy better stuff, like these Atherns I was showing here. These are not Genesis models, but they're still pretty detailed, and probably not something you would give to a kid, because it would break pretty easily.
Yeah, I would go to the Greenberg train shows as a kid, and for like $4 you could get a passenger car, blue box Athern kit. So that's my old collection are all Athern blue boxes, because that's
right.
That's what I could afford back then.
Right. So do you have a favorite current favorite of rolling stock now?
I have a bunch of Broadway Limited and Bachmann stuff actually, but I just got my first Kato engine, and it's pretty amazing. I bought it used, and it had some missing parts, but it was pretty darn easy to take apart and fix. Much easier than I expected.
Cool.
And it just runs. So I'm very impressed. I don't know why, but I was sort of avoiding them for a little while. And now that I have my first one, I think I might be hooked. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, that is something else that happens. You start getting the good stuff, and you're like, oh, I want more of this, right?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I got the Broadway Limiteds because at the time I really loved the idea of Rolling Thunder. I love that in an N-scale engine, you aren't going to get good bass sounds out of the locomotive itself. So by putting the bass sound separate, in a separate device, it just made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
And they run fine, but nothing like the Katos, so it's, yeah.
Yeah,
been good.
condoms are super smooth.
Yeah. And I can never say it too. I always say Kato, and everyone writes in the comments, it's Kato.
Yeah. I mean, I think people know what you're talking about if you say Kato. I mean, but
Yeah.
I try to pronounce stuff correctly, and I know it's a Japanese name, so it has to be Kato because I don't think Japanese language has that long A sound that we have.
It's the Northeast K, Kato is, that Northeast accent is what I go to.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, it looks like we have Alvin trying to call in. So is there anything else you want to say before we go to Alvin?
No, I'm all set. Let's see what Alvin has to say.
All right. Thanks for calling, man. Or do you want to stay on?
Either way, I got a couple seconds. So
okay. Tell you what, I'll leave you on. I'm going to bring Alvin on, and if Brandon calls in, I'll have him come on, and then we'll let you go at that point. All right.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good.
Let's see what's up with the bro. Bro.
Hi.
What's up, dude?
Nothing. Can you hear me okay?
No, can't hear you at all.
It sounds good, and the picture's a lot clearer than what you're usually doing over there.
I got these headphones with the thing.
Maybe that's why it sounds so good.
Yeah. Let's try that out. I try to fire up my computer, but it said there's updates and stuff, and it's acting pretty dumb.
Thanks, Manny, for that super sticker. That's cool.
Yeah, I just saw that. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Manny Fernandez. We appreciate that. So we have a question. Well, two things I want to mention. Brandon, if you're still here, it looks like he's still talking in the chat, or was a minute ago. Try to call in because this is the dude you want to hook up with right here. So Alvin, my other friend Brandon is going to be an SLC because he's a pilot, and he has some yearly or annual training that he has to come do, and he's going to be an SLC on Thursday. And I think you could give him the nighttime tour of SLC with the screaming car.
Yeah. No, the screaming car is a bit out of condition right now. But
is it?
Yeah.
What happened to
screaming?
Too much screaming.
So what I'm talking about when I went to Salt Lake City not this year, but last year in May with Gary, Alvin met up with us. We got there in the evening. So we had some legit pizza, and then Alvin took us on a nighttime tour of Salt Lake City in his car that had a loose fan belt or AC belt or something that was just squealing the whole time. We're driving through this posh neighborhood with this. We kept knowing that there's people in their houses going, "What's that terrible noise?" So every time I talk to Alvin, I have to give him crap about well, maybe not every time, but.
And what sound did that make again, John?
He's not wrong.
That's pleasant for those of us wearing headphones. That's a great sound.
That's exactly why I did it.
I was thinking of you, Heath. Alvin, too, for that matter.
Oh, man. It's pretty accurate. It's pretty dead on, actually.
It was pretty close, huh? So tell us about your favorite brands, Alvin. I know that you get a lot of trains.
Oh, man, I get too many trains.
I know. So what's your favorite brand? Let's start with Rolling Stock. Tell us about your favorite brand of Rolling Stock.
Oh man, I love Exact Trail. They make some quality equipment.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. But for locomotives, I mostly have Athern stuff. A few Genesis, and I have one Scale Trains that I like a lot. One of those Tier 4 Gevos. That works out pretty well.
So is your favorite then probably Athern?
Yeah, probably Athern.
So do you think that's because they make the models, the types of engine that you're most interested in, or do you get them because you're really happy with the quality, or both?
I think I am happy with the quality. I think it's a quality product. There's a few ready to roll rolling stocks that I have gotten that I'm kind of about. They're probably more expensive than they probably should be, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because the separately applied parts they're few and far between. But they're quality. I like them.
Cool.
I never really have any problems with them derailing or anything. So they're pretty straightforward out of the box. which is
Right.
pretty nice. But
Elvin, what's your favorite type of rolling stock?
in a sense of like boxcars or
Boxcar, tank car, gondola,
Hopper.
I guess I like boxcars because I have too many of them. But the thing is, when I pick out what I'm trying to get for my railroad, I see that, hey man, I like that, and then I buy it. You know, like I have a lot of different colored stuff. I have a purple one and a lot of greens and blues and, you know, some pink stuff. So I get what I like, not because of what it is or whatever.
So I'm curious about if you want to talk a little bit. I mentioned before you called in to the viewers here that you just got a new place and you're going to be probably building a layout. Do you have any good plans about that already?
No, not really. Not any good plans yet. But I do have my layout that I was working on before I moved. So I'm trying to finish that up. I got some tortoises I have to apply and make the frogs live. So I want to get that going. Eventually the plan is to add on to that since it's module.
Right. So those are the same ones that I saw what that you were working on in the old place.
Yeah, my chocolate bars.
Right. That's right. It's hard to believe that was already over a year ago.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Did you know, Alvin, that we just had an anniversary yesterday?
Yeah, for a meeting up in Colorado.
That was the day you drove out to Greeley.
Yep, in my screeching car.
It was, yeah. Yep. But you had it all fixed up though by then. So
no, the day I left Greeley to go to Durango, turned it on in the morning because it was kind of cold and it was making that noise again. What? How did it go, John?
Okay, that's the last time I'm doing that.
That's the noise.
What I should do is go right up to the microphone and do it and watch Heath's face.
That's terrible.
I hit mute on that one.
Yeah. So anyway, well, I was really hoping that Brandon would call in so that I could introduce you guys and he could hook up with you because he's a super cool guy. As a matter of fact, Brandon sent me the patch that's hanging on my door right there. You see that patch?
Which one is it?
Something police.
You got to make yourself full screen.
Athens, Clark County Police. Here, thanks, Dave. I keep forgetting I can do that.
I can see it a little better now.
Yeah, that one. Athens, Clark County Police.
Oh,
you use your middle finger to show it off, it'll look a lot better.
Do what to show it off?
I said if you use your middle finger to show it off, it'll look a lot better.
Yeah, maybe not. So yeah, anyway, I did want to mention that I've been putting the link in our chat window here in case anybody's interested to share their opinion about your favorite model brands and why you like them.
So John, Brandon hasn't come up. So Elvin, John, you'll have to say what weekend or whatever it is that Brandon's going to be there. But Elvin, what's a good place and time to go out for dinner where you are? And then maybe you guys could actually meet up.
Legit Pizza.
Legit Pizza.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of complicated too because I don't really like eating out right now. I mean, I'll get it to go, but I don't like sitting somewhere to eat because of the
virus.
Yeah. But that's fine. We can go to a park or something. It's not terribly cold yet.
Eat it in your car.
Yeah, we can eat in the car.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like if you can't come up here live or something, if you guys actually had like legit pizza at say 7 p.m. or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever day that Brandon could put in the chat even. And then maybe you guys could do that, meet up. Obviously, you'd be easy to find all your hair like that. So
just look for the girl.
Yeah, just look for the hot chick.
I got to tell this story while Alvin's on because this was hilarious. We were up at Promontory for the May 10th, 150th anniversary, the actual day we went there. Okay. It was a zoo. I mean, there must have been how many people were there? 10,000 people, 5,000.
Maybe. I
It
don't
was
know.
like a concert. It was so crowded.
It was like a mega venue concert.
It really was. So what ends up happening is Alvin and I were hungry, so we went to find some pizza. They had food trucks, right, set up in the parking lot. So we were hoping to find some other brand of legit pizza to eat. So we went over there, and Gary stayed. He was filming the event that was happening. So we were like, hey, we're going to go try to find something to eat. He says, yeah, go ahead. I'm not hungry. So we went, and on our way back to where Gary was, Alvin was leading the way, and I was right behind him, and he cut through this bush, and we were right as he cut through the bush. Some woman came from this side, and she cut me off, and I must have given her a look or something, because she looked at me and she says, oh, I'm sorry, were you with her? I just laughed my ass off. I'm like, yeah, I'm with her, because all she saw was his hair walking away.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I guess in Utah, guys with long hair is a bit of a novelty, because, I mean, tell them a story about people rolling up and checking you out, dude. I mean, it happened with that one guy. We were going somewhere, and Alvin was driving, and some guy rolls up in his minivan. I mean, of all things, in a minivan, and he comes up like this with his hand on the wheel, you know, and then he noticed, he's like, oh, I think it's great.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
It was the best surprise he had that week.
Before my wife and I were dating, before we were married, we were dating, obviously. And she had like a hot pink moped. It was a little bit brighter than this, but I had a white helmet, and I'd mob that thing everywhere, man. And I broke so many necks because everyone's like, oh man, who's that hot chick on a scooter? It's good. It's a lot of fun.
When I first held that up, I thought it was a mannequin's leg.
I know. Just a cup.
I had some other ideas of what it could be, but I wasn't going there. Oh, that's right.
Elvin, right? So
I also once had long hair, Heath, and it was long. I mean, I've had
way
hair,
back in the day,
right?
Yeah.
I've had long hair twice now in my life, and the first time it wasn't quite a mullet, but kind of, because it was much shorter up top and long in the back. And the second time I just grew it all out. So it was like straight back, man. You know, like you think of these, like a Native American dude, you know, and it was such a pain in the, you know what, to take care of. I mean, you're having to use conditioner and all these different hair products, and it takes up 2 or 3 times as much shampoo trying to shampoo that stuff. And then you go to get out of the shower, and there's hair all up in that thing, you know? So, yeah, I relate. I don't know how many hearts I broke, but, you know, with guys rolling up on me, I was pretty skinny too. So I probably got a lot of guys looking.
I think you still do.
I don't know about that. Well, is that a compliment, Dave? I didn't know you feel that way about me.
Delete that from the replay, would you? Some of those things after you said it, it's like, why?
Yeah. There's a comment in the comment section from Caboose 121 who says you have to have short hair for church in Utah. So yes, long-haired guys are rare. That makes sense, because come to think of it, I've never had the guys come up to my door in their little suits with their little name tags that had long hair. That just doesn't happen. They're always these short-haired, clean-cut dudes, very young guys that have a thing on their name tag that says elder, and I wonder who they're more elder to. I don't quite, it's obviously just a title, right?
Yeah.
So
that's them. They are the elders.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, it seems like Brandon got shy. He must have taken off because he hasn't called in and he hasn't posted any comments in the comment section lately either.
Uh-oh. Well, if he has social media, that's probably the best way to get a hold of me.
Yeah. You can find Alvin on Facebook by typing in his name. Alvin.
That's me.
Gilberto.
But without the O.
Yeah, without the O.
Without the O.
Alvino Gilberto.
Yep.
So anyway,
That's
Well,
me.
Alvin, will you be posting the build of your upcoming model railroad build?
I can send him some pictures of what's going on.
yeah, if you send them to
I
me,
can
I'll
do
put them
that.
on the podcast, dude.
Yeah, put him on the podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that could be good.
I can do that.
We have something. I don't know if I
No
should.
problem.
I don't know if I should mention this on here, but I'm going to. But we have plans, and we haven't talked to him in a while about this. But I don't know if you guys know Chris Palomares. He used to work for Athern, and he actually was on YouTube quite a bit because he'd go on Ken Patterson's show fairly frequently. And well, he's a friend of ours, Alvin and mine, and he wants to do a series of videos about building Fremo, or about Fremo, what Fremo is. So we've talked about when the virus slows down a bit that we will meet, because he lives in Denver now, or somewhere near Denver, because he's working for Caboose Hobbies out in Denver, or I should say out in Lakewood, Colorado, which is next door to Denver. And he wants to meet up in Utah, in Salt Lake City, and do some videos about Fremo. And I think that would be a lot of fun.
Chris is one of the founders of Fremo, is he not?
You know, I think he is actually.
I think so too.
Dimensions for it and where the track was supposed to be positioned and stuff, I believe.
Right. Well, let's put it this way. He's definitely one of the founders for Fremo in the U.S.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that Fremo is based on a European standard for modules, or for modular railroading. So if I'm not, I wish he would call in and he could tell us the answer to that. But I do know he's one of the original people here in the States.
Yeah, I would definitely be doing Fremo over T-Track if there was a club, you know, anywhere near me.
You don't have Fremo back east?
No,
Interesting.
not at least not in the Northeast area. There's not
Really?
There's not a Fremo club. Yeah,
Where I live,
there are people in the area that do Fremo, and then will go to, you know, like Amherst with their modules. But there aren't really any clubs like there are with N-Track and T-Track clubs. Are much more common. So
do you mean clubs that have their modules all set up in a place when they're not going places, or do you mean clubs just that get together for shows?
So like the N-Track club that I'm a part of, they at their monthly meetings they bring their T-Track modules. So they'll do N-Track for the big shows, and then they'll do T-Track for their monthly meetings. Just because people like seeing trains run. So,
yeah,
you know, everyone would bring their own modules and they'd put them together and run some trains.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because
I think Fremo takes
their layout set up already in a club situation. They just bring the Fremo stuff out for shows and stuff like that. So,
yeah. I think Fremo takes up a little more space too, from what I can tell as well, because like with the T-Track modules that I have, I can have, you know, 2 trains running in a pretty small loop in my apartment. With Fremo being a single main line, I'd need a lot more to have more than one thing, you know, running at a time.
Well, but you could make a switching layout. And actually, Roy brought up a point here that I just highlighted on our screen, which is you could start your own Fremo club. I mean, I know it's a lot of work, but if you really wanted to, you could. And I'm sure that there are people who are in your same position that would like to have access to a Fremo club that you probably wouldn't be hard to get something going.
Yeah, there's so many places, so many empty storefronts these days.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking of like walking around and trying to find an empty storefront that would give me like really, really low rent, and then just invite people to, you know, come by.
unfortunately, though, I think the rent would go up after a couple months of the show cover being gone. So, but I do have
probably true.
question for you, Heath. Is like I know one of your thoughts on your layout was taking it down to the park, hooking it up to a battery, and running it. Can you do a live stream when you're doing that? And are you actually going to go anywhere with that kind of an idea? Because I think that would be awesome. Set up a little pail in the middle for donations or something. It is New York, and run your trains and stuff like that, and actually live stream it. So that'd be kind of, I think, to me, would be kind of cool. So.
It
Yeah, I
would-
mean, the thought is, you know, how Ken Patterson takes his modules outside and shoots, you know, the stuff. I'd want to do that as a live stream. I think that would be the fun thing to do. I did just change my phone service, so I now have unlimited whatever phone service. So I could probably do it. I just have to figure out how to stream from my phone, which
Yeah.
I haven't done yet.
Oh yeah, because you're under 1,000. We're still working on that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, still under 1,000. I could use Streamlabs and stream through that. I tried figuring it out today, and I didn't quite understand it. But yeah, if I was over 1,000, it'd make things easier. But I'm sure I'll figure out a way eventually.
Yeah. Well, I got Brandon calling in here, so I'm going. Yeah, I'm going to have you off the thing there. Thanks for calling. I appreciate that, and thanks for
Thank
being
you
on
for
the
having
crew.
me.
Appreciate that too.
Oh,
And
Prism Live. Try that, Heath.
Prism Live.
Yeah, PRISM Live. And it's supposed to be a program or an app that you can use on your phone, and you don't need the 1,000. So
okay.
Oh, I'll check that out.
All right. Thanks again, Heath. I'm going to bring Brandon in. Thanks. I'll talk to you soon. And let's get Brandon on here. And hey, Brandon, good to see you.
Hey, John, how are you?
Doing great. Nice to see you. I haven't talked to you in a while.
It's been a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to be in SLC on Thursday, right?
I'm actually going to try and hitch a ride up there on Wednesday, so I'll be there for Wednesday, Thursday, and then coming home on Friday.
Okay. Well, here's your guy, man, right here. He knows all the good eating places.
So,
I
so
love you.
outside of eating places, where would you recommend going for like a hobby shop?
The train shop. Definitely.
Okay. Are you nearby? Are you available?
Yeah. Yeah, I can make some time.
He saw your hair and he was interested, Alvin.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly what time I'll get in there on Wednesday, just because I have to commute up there out of Atlanta. So I basically just go to the airport and try to hitch a ride. Any flight that I can get on, if I can get on it, I'll get on it. And when I get there is whenever I get there. But I'm supposed to be staying up next to the airport. I think it's called West Temple.
Okay. North Temple, maybe?
Maybe North Temple. I'll have to look at the arrangements that they made. But I know it's right next to the like light rail or whatever they have up there, the Utah Transit Authority or something.
Tracks.
Yeah, tracks.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, it's been a
That's
while
the
since
one.
I've been in Salt Lake. It's probably been about two or 3 years.
Yeah.
I thought that was an annual thing that you had to stay certified on.
It absolutely is, but they either do it in Salt Lake City or they do it in Denver. And I had it in Denver last year, so I went over to Caboose while I was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So, is that near you, Alvin? Or are you kind of
Caboose?
no, like where I'm going to be staying at the hotel and stuff.
Yeah, kind of. Salt Lake is pretty small, so
Okay,
everything's 15, 20 minutes away. No big deal.
Awesome.
You know what I'll do, guys? I'll send each of you an email so that you have each other's contact and you guys can try to hook up and go do some train stuff. Alvin knows the train stuff. I knew the train shop, but he can show you where it is, and I think you guys would probably enjoy that.
Yeah. So, like I said, Wednesday I'll show up there whatever time I get up there. I'm not going to take the first flight out of Atlanta in the morning. I'll probably get something midday. The training sessions that I have are from 4 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the morning. So Thursday, if you don't have any availability on Wednesday, Thursday after 10 o'clock in the morning, I'd be available. And then Friday is going to be kind of the go home day. As soon as I'm done with training at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm going straight back over to the airport and try and get back to Atlanta.
Okay. I work until 3, but the rest of the afternoon I'll be free.
Cool. That
That's
sounds
something,
awesome.
though. Yeah, we can go
Awesome,
get some
man.
legit
Yeah.
pizza.
Legit pizza, man. That's what it's about. If you get that legit pizza, you'll have to let me know how you like it, Brandon. It's good stuff.
I will. Yeah, there's we really didn't the last time I was up in Salt Lake in 2018, we really didn't go downtown or anything. We kind of just stayed at the hotel. We bought groceries and stuff and just brought them back. Because the airline kind of gave us arrangements where they give us the extended stay room, so you get kind of that small kitchen galley and a refrigerator and stuff like that. So we would just buy food, keep it. Because outside of that, you're just going to the classroom and then you're going back to the hotel room studying, and it's just just repeat all the time.
No doubt.
I have a question for you, Brandon, since you
Yeah.
called in on this show. Do you have any favorite brands or anything like that as far as trains go? And also, there's a second part of the question. I remember when I talked to you last, whenever that was, a few months ago, I thought you were building a layout. How's that going?
So it's right here in the room next to me. I just finished actually doing the basement, refinishing the basement at the house, and I haven't actually started. I just finished the room, carpets in, baseboard, all that stuff's done. So I haven't actually taken the first step of building anything for the layout yet, but that is to come. As far as models go, I would probably say Exact Rail for the price, the level of detail that you get. I really do. I like Exact Rail quite a bit.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. I think Exact Rail, especially, well, I mean, if you think about it, their prices aren't really any different than any of your other so-called high-end models. And, and their detail and the consistency of their quality is up there with the best.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about Exact Rail too. For the quality that you get and the amount of detail that they do put on some of their cars, and the price is pretty good for that. So
yeah, it's hard to go wrong. One of the points I always make on the product spotlights. Look, he's got the Exact Rail. I recognize the colors right there. There it is. If you were to buy a cheap blue box or something crude that's not detailed at all, and you were to detail it yourself, you'd have to buy all those detail parts, and you would spend hours doing it all. Whereas, I mean, how much would a blue box, even if it was only $10 at a train show, you're saving $30 or $40 on the model, but what's your time worth?
Yeah. And I think the other thing you'd have to look at too, John, is you'd have to buy the right detail parts too. Not all ladder stirrups are the same size and all those other details, right?
Yeah.
You'd be off by like scale inches, and it's going to look like crap then too. So
it could. Now, there's another part to that, which is if super detailing crude models is what brings you enjoyment from the hobby, then by all means, that's what you should do. But if you would rather have something straight out of the box where all you have to do is weather it and then you can run it and it'll look awesome, and you want to save the time and effort, because I mean, you also have to research to know which parts to get, which takes time. Yeah. I think the $40 that you're saving those hours and hours and hours of work on is probably worth it. So, I mean, I know people like to complain about how everything's expensive, but you are getting something for that extra money. So,
and that's what Ralph Renzetti's kind of saying in the chat too. Like, when you're buying rolling stock, are you shopping for the detail or the price? So,
yeah, exactly. So anyway,
well, at least for me with the Exact Rail stuff, this thing, the Signature series, I just love, all the detail that's already on it. The train hose, the little crossover platform, all the separately applied parts, really nice. The underbody detail is phenomenal as well. Coupler, cut levers and stuff like that. I mean, it looks great. And I've tried to do some modeling on my own. The parts are just so small. And, I'm in my mid 30s. I'm not that old, but it's just like, even I'm too shaky to try and apply some of this stuff, with any kind of steady hand. It's just tough. And it just doesn't look the same as what the manufacturer can do.
Right.
So it's worth it for me.
Yeah. Some of the more recent Exact Rail models that I've shown on product spotlights there was nothing that you could add. I mean, they had hoses, cut levers. They already had KD couplers, they're metal wheels. The trucks are accurate. They're detailed. I mean,
yeah, that's this one right here. I mean, it's already got all that stuff already on it. So,
right. So really all you have to do is weather it. If you want to weather it, other than that, the work is done. So, I mean, you are getting something for that money.
Yeah. So Exact Rail's got my vote. I've got quite a bit of their stuff. I enjoy it. It's worth the money, certainly.
Hi, Stephanie. Stephanie just walked behind you, Alvin.
She can't hear you. She says hi.
She probably couldn't hear me though, because you had your earphones on.
Yeah, I got the headphones in. Lily's over here licking my elbow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, I have to go see my mom today because it's her birthday. So I don't want to cut this short because, especially because Brandon, I don't know that you've called before, so I feel like
I don't think so.
crap having to go here soon. But yeah.
Hold on. There's two more things.
Uh-oh.
So one of them, someone asked what Fremo was.
Oh, right. I wanted to mention. Do you want to take that question, Alvin, or do you want me to answer it?
I can. I think I know. So Fremo is basically like there's a set standard on how high the rail is from the ground, and then where it's at, like from the sides where it meets up, and everyone has a bunch of pieces, and it's like a puzzle that they put together.
Right.
Right.
So it's a standard for modules, basically.
Yeah, standard for modules.
And the theory is that you can build anything within your set module or modules, but
as long as the ends meet up.
Yeah, at the end, the track has to meet the next space or the next module that's being put together. And the cool thing about modular like that is you can get together at a train show and have 50 guys bring 100 modules and have a massive, gigantic railroad that you can run on. And it all works because everyone followed the standards.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
There was at the NMRA meet last year, they had brought their Fremo thing.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did a layout tour at the Fremo module layout that was there that Chris Palomara's hosted. You can find it on this channel if you search for modular Fremo layout tour. That should give you just search for that on YouTube and it should come up. If you put in the year 2019, in addition to that, it most certainly will come up. It'll probably be your first hit on your results if you search that.
There was someone that showed up that had maybe a 6-inch long piece of Fremo that was like the width standard, but it was this big, and they're still able to run because they contributed to the layout.
Oh, I didn't even see that part.
Yeah, there was a tiny one. It's pretty small. But the ends met up and it was there, so works out.
What was cool about that modular layout tour also was that I saw some very, very good modeling exhibited on it. I mean, there was a guy, I remember as I was talking, because it's not just Chris Palomara as being the host. There was another guy whose name escapes me now. If I think about it, I could probably remember. But his name was Jerry Bill, I think, or something like that. It was kind of a simple name like that. I think it was, or Bill Jerry. No, Jerry Bill. I think Bill was his last name. But anyway, he was showing off one of his modules. He had several modules in the layout. And he was showing one of them when a couple of guys from the NMRA showed up to the modular layout and wanted to talk to him about, if he wanted to earn his MMR certificate, Master Model Railroader, because they saw what he had done there and said, you've probably got most of the achievement program for MMR finished just based on his modules that were there. And all he would have to do is, take pictures of those things and fill out whatever paperwork. And it was really cool. And they also awarded him like 5 awards from the National Train Show for his modules. Or it might be remembering, or it might have only been 2 or 3 awards. But the point was, they were impressed with his modeling, and I was too. I mean, that's just, if you have a chance, you should definitely go see that layout tour, Fremo 2019 train show or whatever. So, anyway, what was the other?
One more thing I wanted to plug was not to get too political, but let's remember to vote.
Oh yeah.
So everyone make a plan to vote.
Did you already vote, Alvin?
I did. I voted.
Cool.
Did
you already vote?
No, I have not voted yet.
Oh, well, get out and vote, man.
Get out and vote.
It's important. I voted. Dave's in Canada, so I don't. Do they even vote in Canada? What do they do up there?
For a while up here. So,
how often do you guys have your national elections, though, Dave?
I'm pretty sure it's every 4 years.
Oh, okay. So like ours. Very cool. All right.
You're pretty sure you don't vote that often?
I vote every 2 years myself. Well, actually, I vote every year. I think we have local issues on our ballot every year.
Wow.
And, you know, I don't think I've missed one since I started many, many years ago.
Wow.
Andy's asking what's the vote for. The vote in the U.S. is our general election. Pretty much almost everybody's up for election at this point, except for a bunch of representatives and a bunch of senators. But
So, John, I don't know if you can answer this one or not. I don't have dates for it, but modules have been around for years. Is this just a new name? And I'm pretty sure Joe Rader's just asking about the Fremo part of that. And what Fremo basically is a standard set, like Elvin was trying to say, is it's set at a certain height, plus the track that has to go to the next module or Fremo module has to be in a certain spot in the center, so all of them match up. Yeah. This way, it doesn't matter where you go in North America. If you have a Fremo layout, you can meet up with a Fremo person, and all your modules shall fit together. So Fremo is just a standard for the height and the rail gauge and where the rails have to come off your module itself. You can do anything else on your module you want. You can actually have a whole yard based on your module itself. If you have two modules together, you can have a two-module yard. It's just that one track in the center has to match up with everybody else's. That's it. So, yeah,
really, the theory behind it is modules are made to a certain size so that you can transport them.
Yeah.
Theoretically, you could have a 40-foot module as long as the tracks on the end meet the next module to the standard. It can do anything else within those 40 feet. So you could even have, 10 4-foot modules that you bring to the show with you and have the ones in the middle do anything. I mean, you could even have them go off to the side and go out that way and have like a big T section if you want. Just the ones that hook up to the rest of the modules have to match up with the rest.
Right.
That's it. So it's a pretty cool setup when you think about it, especially if you don't have space for a full layout at your house. You could have modules stored in your garage or in a storage unit someplace and just go retrieve them once or twice a year for a train show and run on a bigger layout than any club you've ever seen. So,
yeah, I know Amherst does do that. They have a Fremo module group that sets up, and you are free to get in touch with them and actually bring your module too. If it'll fit in there, they'll put it in for you. And their layout gets really big. Like they took up over half a building the year I was there. So,
right. Yeah. And, it depends on the train show. Some train shows have more space, and the Fremo clubs will talk to the people organizing the.
John, look out the window.
I can see that.
Oh,
the
okay.
Fremo clubs will organize based on that. Is it time to go? Oh. I think we know what that means, guys.
The secret producer.
No, that was the top secret kid.
Oh, okay. There's a bit of a glare on the window, so
yeah. So anyway, I do want to thank everybody. Thank you guys for taking the time to call in. It's really great talking to you again, Brandon. I'll have to remember to send an email to both you and Alvin so you guys can hook up next week. And
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you for calling. Thanks for all you guys for being on the crew. I should mention to the people watching, if you're interested in being part of the TSG train crew, I don't know if anybody who's a moderator has put it out in the chat recently, but it's patreon.com/TSG Multimedia. Pretty easy to find. Thanks for watching. Is any of you guys want to say anything else before we take off?
No, it's been fun. And Alvin, hopefully, if you got time, I'll see you on Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever works for you.
Yeah, cool. Absolutely. Send
it. Yeah. Also, Dave Sparky, thanks for going on here with me. It was fun.
It's nice to get back to the live stream. So,
yeah. One last thing I do want to mention. Let's see, where are we here? This is the 17th. So next week on the channel, we're going to have, well, it's not really model railroading with Jack Burgess, but it kind of is, because it's going to be a video about logging inclines with Jack Burgess. So you won't want to miss that. He has a lot of great photos and also some old vintage film of logging inclines. If you haven't seen logging inclines before, this is really worth checking out. It's pretty cool. And then the week after that, we have on the Saturday, we have the TSG hangout that we did with Michelle Kempema I think it was last month. I actually got to record that, and she said it was okay to publish it as a video, so people will get an idea of what it's like to be on the TSG train crew, because we do private hangouts, which by the way, I don't know if you guys are going to the one next time that's coming out on the 20. What day is that we're doing that this month? I just put out a thing on the Patreon page about it. Oh, the 20. It's on the 24th. It's on the same day that the video about logging inclines is coming out. So a week from today, we're going to have a TSG train crew virtual hangout with my friend Dave Connery, who's done a lot of really cool railroad related stuff, and he agreed to come on and share some of that stuff with us. So I hope you guys can make that.
And you said that was your Patreons?
Yeah, that's only for Patreon members. So patreon.com/TSG Multimedia. It's as little as $2 a month if you want to join us, and you'll get access to behind the scenes stuff and 4K videos with no ads. Have you guys been watching those and joined? I think you posted a comment to one of them, Brandon, that you watched it on your 4K TV, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. We got a 75-inch upstairs, and now that the basement is done, we bought a 82-inch TV for down here, just because the ceilings in the basement are 9.5 feet. So,
nice.
Finishing this place out down here gave us about an extra 1,700 square feet, and the wall just totally swallows the 82-inch TV. It's almost too small, but your videos do look great in 4K on the TV. It looks awesome.
I'm coming to your house to watch TSG Multimedia.
You're more than welcome to.
I mean, I sit here watching them on my computer when I edit, but it's only like 27 inches.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, I do watch it, and Patreon's total, and the train cruise, it's definitely worth it.
Cool. I really appreciate that. All right, guys, let's end this thing. I'm going to leave it running for about another 20 seconds or so that people can say goodbye in the chat window there. So thank you much for coming, and hope to see you guys next weekend.
See ya.
Hanging out, Brandon, Alvin. Very cool.
Yeah. Bye.
Thanks, Dave.
See you guys.
See ya.